Ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to introduce our esteemed guest today. That's distinguished Toastmaster Ahmed Shukri. He has an impressive journey dating back to 2003. Now, DTM Ahmed's expertise lies in the art of speech evaluation and formal debating, making him a distinguished figure in our Toastmasters community, especially in District 20. Notably, DTM Ahmed achieved a significant milestone in his Toastmasters career by securing the DTAC 2012 title in the speech evaluation category, a testament to his exceptional skills and dedication to the craft of speech evaluation. But DTM Ahmed's contribution doesn't stop there. Yes, he has generously shared his wealth of knowledge and experience by coaching aspiring speakers, leading them to triumph at the district level in various speech contest categories. His commitment to helping others reach their full potential in public speaking and leadership they embody the core values of Toastmasters. Today, we have the privilege of sitting down with Ahmed Shukri to gain insights into his journey, experiences, and the wisdom he's garnered over the years. I have no doubt that this interview will be both enlightening and inspiring for all of us. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Ahmed Shukri as we embark on this conversation about the transformative power of Toastmasters. All right, thank you for having us here, distinguished Toastmaster Ahmed Shukri.
You're most welcome, DTM Allen, and special thanks to District 20 PR team for this wonderful initiative in celebration of our 25th anniversary of Toastmasters in the region.
Thank you. And DTM Ahmed, my first question to you is, it's been a long time. How did you first discover Toastmasters and what exactly motivated you to join?
For this question, I need to take you back in time 20 years ago, precisely in June of 2003. This is where I came back from my college and began to look for a venue where I can practice my communication and leadership skills. Heard about a club called Bahrain Toastmasters, and I decided to go and join them for the first meeting. Of course, as any new guest, I was nervous. I had fears. I saw a venue full of profound speakers and able communicators. But two things really stood in my mind from that first meeting back in June 2003. First one, of course, was the selected theme of that evening. The evening focused on the wonderful world of Harry Potter. And I still remember how the Master of Ceremonies and all the members of that meeting wore the actual dress and costume, and all the theme was really reflecting the wonderful wizard world of Harry Potter.
That's amazing.
And the next wonderful thing I still remember from that meeting is the table topics. Although many guests will not like to take part in the first table topics, on the contrary, I was so driven to take part in the table topics, and I actually had my first ribbon as the best table topic commentator on the first meeting I joined Bahrain Toastmasters. These two events really stood in my mind as the milestones of my journey in Toastmasters.
It's interesting. I mean, for me, I can't imagine you. I mean, you have such a reputation here in District 20. I can't imagine you being nervous about. It's fascinating how. I mean, I wish I could go back in time to a time to see how you would have been first coming as a guest. And of course, I am also a huge Harry Potter fan. Are you a Harry Potter fan? Have you seen Harry Potter?
I am.
Oh, that's nice. Wow, it's teams are always a driving factor for guests to be attracted to Toastmasters. Now, like over your long journey with Toastmasters, what is your personal growth or transformation that you have experienced?
Honestly, DTM Allen, this question has two different types of answers. The first one is on a personal level, And the second one is on the organizational level. So in 2003, when I first joined a Toastmaster Club in Bahrain, we had only 3 areas and 15 clubs, 15 clubs. So one division, 3 areas, 15 clubs. And because Bahrain is a small island, so basically you knew every Toastmaster on the island. And we had a very cozy type of community where even the area level and division level contests were kind of a family affair. 20 years down the line, there's no comparison, the number of clubs and areas and members we have right now in District 20. So I've seen firsthand how the movement managed to grab people together and mobilize them to help each other realize their skills in public speaking and leadership. On the personal level, to be honest, Toastmasters gave me a whole lifeline in the career, in my social life, in my network of professionals. Because if you think about it, you don't have a similar facet where people get to know similarly minded people that are positive, that are encouraging, and basically clap for you even if you do bad in your journey of communication and leadership. I can't think of a different socially based, non-profit making organization where members are encouraged to make mistakes. They're encouraged to come forward and challenge themselves. Similar organizations will always have a class-based system where older members have kind of an edge over new members. Only here in Toastmasters, where the pyramid is inverted and members are the true heart of the organization. And quite honestly, if you just skip the past 3 or 4 years where we had the virtual world of COVID, remote meetings and online meetings, anything prior to 2020, I've seen people grow. I've seen them realize their dreams, become star speakers, and even myself managed to choose the area of speech evaluations to grow as a person and to give my best hobby of giving feedback to others and see them grow as speakers themselves.
Talking about helping them and seeing their transformative journey and all this, like throughout your time with Toastmasters, uh, you must have had lots of opportunities to mentor and inspire members. So, what is one of your most memorable mentoring experience? Can you share that with us?
A wonderful question, DTM Allen. Again, I have 2 different instances where mentorship is involved. The first one is, again, during my first year of membership at Toastmasters. So when I joined the Bahrain Toastmasters as a guest, it took me only 3 meetings to become a member with Bahrain Toastmasters. Then I immediately requested the VP Education to have my ice-breaking speech. There, they assigned me with an experienced mentor. That mentor gave me the vibes of an older person with an important job in the community and a very old-fashioned method to coaching and mentoring. I was under the impression that during the ice-breaking speech, the help of the mentor is optional, that I have to discover my own skills to then get the help from the mentor. To be honest, I tried calling him once or twice, and I had this big red tape of calling his secretary. He was busy in meetings. I could not get a hold of him. So when I went to the meeting where I gave my ice-breaking speech, I chose the title as Box of Chocolates. And I was really creative in my ice-breaking speech. I quoted movies, I brought history books, my own experiences, and I had a nice standing ovation from the club members, except from my mentor, who immediately after the end of my speech stood up and requested a call to order or an order point and demanded that the excom of the club enforce that all new members should contact their mentors before presenting their ice-breaking speech. Imagine the level of my embarrassment and my disappointment that my mentor, whom I tried to call a week prior, stood up with a point of order and demanded that members like myself should contact him before presenting the ice-breaking speech. Later on, the years passed by and I saw him many years down the line, and he apologized to me on that instant. And he said, Ahmed, that evening, I thought that I was helping you by being harsh. So then I took that transformation to my own journey of mentoring others. And I learned the golden rules of mentoring people in Toastmasters. So we are here not to burn bridges. We're here to build bridges to help people. So even if you want to critique somebody, I've learned that to do it in private is almost always the wise choice. Praising in public is always good, but to critique someone, you have to have the discipline to do it in private, because this is the only way where you can build bridges and not burn them. And this really helped me with many of my mentees and really helped them realize their learning curve and learning potentials.
That's incredible. From best table topics to best speaker. I mean, I mean, for an icebreaker, you were so creative. You started off with a bang, I should say that. And what a strict mentor. I mean, if I were in your place, I don't know if I would still continue in the organization. If someone were that harsh to me in front
I
of
agree.
everyone, it must have been. I mean, was it always? I mean, were mentors so strict back in the days? Was that a trend that was happening back then? How was it? Take us back to that time.
This is the story of any organization, DTM Allen. You'll always have the old guards and the new guards. The old guards, the people who grew with pen and paper, with the old communication manual, with the strict adherence to parliamentary procedures. And I was lucky and fortunate to join the Toastmasters movement in Bahrain at the brink of that old generation. So I lived with many of the old guards that were in Toastmasters. I've learned the harsh way. I've learned the pen and paper way, the by the book method of conducting meetings, of conducting Robert Rules of Order, of addressing motions, of addressing feedback. So you could say there's a vast difference between what we used to have back in 2003 in terms of discipline, in terms of pen and paper, by the book, by the method, learning and teaching techniques, and the way that we learn these days with the impact of social media and IT tools and techniques. I'm not saying that the old guard didn't have a good way. On the contrary, their way is a proven method of discipline, of going by the book, of respecting the parliamentary procedures. But I would say this, the strictness method that used to be in the old guards may not always work with the modern way, with Gen Z and millennials that we have right now in the organization. And this is, to be honest, a global issue that Toastmasters are facing. Even if you go across all regions and all districts, every region and every district will complain about the demographics of members in Toastmasters. They always say that we have old people joining, and not because I'm going to be giving a harsh feedback on old people, but there is a challenge for Toastmasters International to attract a younger generation. And I guess addressing the message to address the Gen Zs and millennials is one way to do it.
Hmm. I mean, talking about parliamentary procedures, I believe many of the new Toastmasters have not even heard about it. Uh, how do you think? I mean, do you think there's a challenge in parliamentary procedures being enforced? Not many clubs are following parliamentary procedures, right? And I, for one, I love the parliamentary procedures. I feel it brings order to our meetings. But I feel like I could learn more. And what are your thoughts on this?
That's an excellent question, DTM Allen. The challenge with parliamentary procedures is the fact that this tool can be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you need to use parliamentary procedures because the basic constitution and the bylaws of Toastmasters International are based on Robert's Rule of Order. So you properly run your meetings based on parliamentary procedures to guarantee a democratic method of managing your meetings. On the other hand, on the negative side of the formula, many people feel that parliamentary procedures are lengthy, they're too formal, they're too complicated, and they waste time, especially with people who are used to faster method of communication. If you go back to many young members and many non-members, or guests and members, and ask them what is their main source of information, you might think that their first source of information is a simple Google search or probably one of the older social media tools. But to my surprise and the surprise of many people, their main source of information is TikTok. So imagine this 15-second or less video clips is used to teach concepts and theories to a vast swath of Gen Zs or Gen Zers. So you see, it's the clash of both worlds. There's a demand, there's a target audience of hungry guests and youngsters, and there's the mountain of 200 years old, roughly. So the Robert Tool books, or the Robert Book of Parliamentary Procedure is roughly around 200 years old. So you see, it's a clash of two worlds. And it's a challenge for us as leaders of this organization and District 20 to find a compromise, to simplify and customize the tested old method of parliamentary procedures and cater them and tailor them into the needs of this younger generation.
Yes, that is correct. I've also heard that there was an MP of a specific country who joined specifically just because he saw the parliamentary procedures being practiced in the Toastmasters Club. But sorry, I digress. I am supposed to be talking about you, but this topic was so interesting and you captivated me that I got distracted. All right, so coming back to you again. Sorry, I know that we took a little bit more time than usual, but here is my last question. If that is fine. Uh, Toastmasters. Okay, this is a question that I have. Toastmasters promotes lifelong journey, and people like you who have been here for more than 25 years. I mean, how do you continue to challenge yourself and grow as a Toastmasters member even after so many years?
What's a wonderful question, Alan. And I'll use the example of one of my home clubs. So one of my home clubs, when I joined back in 2003, I was requested to join as a founding member and mentor for the club. So back in 2003, I was probably the youngest member of the club, and all the remaining members of the club were older than me, by at least 5 or 10 years. 20 years down the line, I was requested back by the same organization to form another club with the same method, but with a big difference between now and 20 years ago. Now, I look in the room and I see myself as the oldest person among young people in the same room. There's an old saying that we all Toastmasters know about it, especially the older one, is once you get in Toastmasters, you cannot get out of Toastmasters. It's a vast repertoire of roles and responsibilities that you will gain and you will add to your portfolio throughout the years in Toastmasters, whether you choose the communication or the leadership track. And I promise you, Alan, there is no meeting or gathering or workshop or a person, especially in a place as small as Bahrain, and the conversation will always include something about Toastmasters. Even if the person you're meeting is away from Toastmasters, there's always an angle for you to talk about Toastmasters. You become synonymous to your Toastmasters role. And honestly speaking, without having this label on me as a Toastmaster, I guarantee you, DTM Allen, a lot of doors would have not been opened for me to take me to where I am at this moment. So it is a lifelong journey, both learning and teaching. And honestly, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it not only once, twice.
That's fantastic. That's amazing to hear. I mean, I resonate with whatever you just said right now. Like all through the years, you can't just continue doing the same thing. It'll always be different. There'll be a different set of audience, a lot of new things to learn about, a lot of new trends. So this is a lifelong journey, and I'm glad to hear your perspective of things. I I mean, you are currently my inspiration and inspiration for a lot of our viewers listening today. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for being a part of our interview. I wish I could ask you some more questions because you have a wealth of knowledge that we could listen to. Thank you so much, DTM Ahmed Shukri, for joining us today.
It's absolutely my pleasure. And if you allow me to end with one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain, the famous American author and novelist. And he's quoted by saying that the most important 2 days in your life is the day that you were born and the day you find out why you were born. So of course, the day we are born is our birthday. We come to life on this day. But the day that you realize why you were born, I sincerely believe joining Toastmasters will help you answer that question. Thank you again, and thank you to the District 20 PRM team. And I wish you all the best of luck and a lifelong journey of learning and development.
Thank you. Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Ahmed Shukri.
Pleasure.